the Gideon Optics Alpha. This could be the answer you've been looking for to get into the red dot world on your pistol. This is the Gideon Optics Alpha. So there we got our adjustment buttons on that side. Windage adjustment there, up adjustment there. Top mounting battery. It is an RMR footprint or Holosun 507C. And it has been an awesome dot. I've been using it. I use it on my Beretta M9A3. I've played with it on my FN 509 Tactical. And now it's on this big boy. This is the FN 45 Tactical. I don't shoot it nearly as much as I should because it's an absolute beast of a pistol. 15+1 capacity. We're just gonna bounce around on these steels again because that's fun. Smoky. Those are some just lead reloads, but they're all right. 15+1 capacity, double action, single action gun. It's my preferred style of pistol. Double action's not that bad. Somebody's paper target, we're just mess with that. So I don't shoot 45 nearly as much as I used to. This is a cool gun though, and there'll be a review floating around somewhere. I don't know if I've made a video review actually. It might have been back in the writing days, but we're overdue for one of those. Very cool gun, I like it a lot. We're not here to talk about the gun. The reason I put this dot on this pistol was because I test red dots on 9mm because I shoot 9mm the most. I knew the Holosun 507C could take it. This really isn't that bad. I wanted to see if the Gideon could stand up to it. Now, 45 is not that bad. It's certainly not as violent as, you know, a 10mm or even I'd say a 9mm depending on the size of the gun, you know, if you're shooting a subcompact. So I don't know how much worse the recoil is riding atop this slide as it would be any of the other guns that it's survived thus far. But it's still going strong. Yep, still there. So we have a green circle dot reticle. I'm gonna see if I can show that to you guys, but we're gonna try it anyway and see what we get here. So yeah, it's really, there we go. Further away we get from the camera, the better. So you have a circle dot set up there, and it works well. I typically prefer just a dot, but the circle dot works okay for quick hits as well, which is what I look at pistol dots for. We're going to go back up under the awning and we'll talk about it some more and take a closer look at it. So what we have going on is a 65 MOA circle with a 3 MOA dot. If you played with some of the other modes on Holosun 507C series or maybe even other optics in general, you might have played with the circle dot. For a lot of people it works really well because you're not just looking for a dot, you know, and if you're off a little bit, you've got kind of a reference point to bring everything where you need it to be. Certainly nothing wrong with this setup. The green pop's nice. It is daylight bright. Let's see, we were out there and I still had 2 more brightnesses to go up, and I could see it just fine even in the daylight. The green pops well. My window's a little dirty because I've been carrying it. I put this through its paces as a carry gun setup just to see, not so much obviously the, you know, impact of firing and the slide reciprocating, but how well does it hold up to dirt and dust and crust and sweat and temperature changes and bumping into things? And the answer is it holds up fine. It has all of the features that are kind of non-negotiable in my opinion. Shake awake, right? I want the longest battery life I can get. I want it to be able to be something that I change on my birthday and then forget about the rest of the year. This has the potential to do just that. Obviously, the more the dot's on, short of the battery life. But so far, it is still running the same battery that I've had in it for going on 6 months now. So where this shake awake comes from is you just set it down and it goes to sleep. You don't have to worry about turning it on, turning it off. You just turn it on, leave it, go about your business, carry it if you need it. It's there. If not, it's probably on you. You're moving around. Set it in the safe or nightstand or whatnot at night. Dot goes off. God forbid something goes bump in the night, grab the gun. The dot comes on its own. That was a novelty when it came out. I would say that it's non-negotiable, at least for me, or industry standard at this point for a lot of folks. Gideon's done it. Top mounting battery. Last thing you want is to have to take your optic off, flip it over, change the battery, put it back on, re-zero or confirm zero. Top mounting battery means the optic stays where it is. You just unscrew that little circle right there and your battery comes out. You put a new one in, make sure it powers up. Maybe go confirm zero if you want to, but the optic hasn't moved and you're good to go. Gideon's done that. The optic is housed in a 7075 T6 aluminum, pretty robust. It's held up well enough for me, and I'm clumsy and have bumped it into all kinds of stuff. And I've done a couple malfunction clearances with it. I haven't beat it off tables and stuff, but I don't do that with any red dot if I can help it. I see enough other people doing it that I'm convinced that if, God forbid, I get in a firefight and I'm behind cover and I have to run it off there, they're probably going to be fine. So this thing's held up. Gideon's done the rugged aluminum housing. So what's the big deal, right? Gideon has done all this for $199.99. Go on their website right now, pick up this dot, the Gideon Optics Alpha, $199.99. That is the big deal. The big deal is the value. No longer is this a conversation in the $300 and $400 range to try an optic for a lot of folks. And there's a lot of folks that fall in that category that are like, man, I want to try a red dot. I just don't want to sink that much money in it and hate it. From the people I've met, most folks that try the red dot like it. It takes some getting used to, takes a little bit of familiarization. Everything's a little bit different. The hardest part's your presentation, which is just holster work and dry fire. So that comes at zero monetary cost once you put the dot on. That's just a time thing, and sometimes it's boring. You can make it fun if you want, but that's the biggest hurdle. But a lot of people are scared to make that initial investment because it is a sizable chunk of money for a lot of us. So now, instead of that conversation being a $400 conversation or $350 or whatever, I know somebody's gonna be like, oh, I can get this on sale. Under normal circumstances, the conversation typically started at about $300 to $400. Now the conversation starts at $200. Now don't feel like you're really giving anything up. You got the shake awake, you've got the top mount battery, you've got the bright emitter, by all accounts a pretty rugged setup. If for some reason you did have an issue, they've got a warranty program that is by all accounts pretty good. I haven't had to use it, but I've seen people in a couple different groups. Every now and then you make enough of something, something's going to be messed up. I just had a Ruger SP101 and 327 that they completely forgot to machine down around the ejector, so the shells wouldn't even sit flush. Had to go back to Ruger and get fixed. Eventually somebody has a problem. They'll fix it. So this to me is a great deal. It's performed well. Reviewing this has been boring. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's just no issues. It turns on when I pick it up. It holds zero. I did have to re-zero it putting it on this gun. But oddly enough, when I went from my M9A3 to my FN 509 Tactical, the zeros were the same. That's one of the few times that's happened. I shot a confirmation group to figure out where I was going to have to move the reticle, and it was fine. I moved it here, and it was high and right. So I don't know. It's been fine. It's held zero. It's been durable. It's been fun to shoot. Like I said, I normally shoot just a dot, but having the exposure to the circle dot hasn't been all that bad. At closer ranges, 3 to 5 yards on a silhouette target, I kind of just fill up where I'm trying to hit, and I actually am able to go a little bit faster than I would be with just the dot. At longer ranges, I'm having to focus a little bit to find the dot. I guess it depends on you. I've heard from a lot of people, they have a much better time with the circle dot than just the dot. There's different flavors for different reasons, right? So this isn't so much about the reticle choice on this, but I am impressed that they've got this at this price point that performs this well. It's low enough on everything I've used it with. This one's weird because FN uses that weird plate mounting. I mean, this was kind of before red dots were like super common on pistols, and they had this cut. So this one's a little weird, but I still have room for my iron sights if I needed them. They're there. It worked fine on the FN 509T and the M9A3. I feel bad because it's just been a boring review process. It just works. The buttons are tactile. The adjustments have clicks. Everything just works the way it's supposed to. It's been smooth sailing, and I feel bad that it's taken me this long to get the review, but I wanted to try it out and make sure that there wasn't going to be something that tore up before I went out here and recommended it. Because honestly, you know, I'm kind of buddies with Mike Branson, who does marketing for these guys, and when they sent this out, I was like, yeah, sure, you know, I'll try it. And I did my initial video, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And now I've done this long-term review. And I'm sorry, I'm just now getting it out, Mike. But honestly, I can't believe the quality and performance they were able to get in here for $200. Had I had Gideon as an option early on, my first pistol red dot was a Holosun 507C, the first version. And it actually just gave up the ghost not too long ago. One of the buttons quit clicking and whatnot. I sent it back to Holosun. And Holosun made it right with their warranty. But my point is, when I bought that optic, I think I paid $330-ish. I don't remember. It was like around 2019. And that was a lot of money to me. That was an entire overtime shift that I hated working at that time, building tires for a certain tire company. And it was a gamble because I didn't know if I was going to like it. And I initially only got the red dot so that I could try to potentially crap talk them and be like, yeah, these are stupid. And then, well, here we are. Had a company like Gideon existed, that would have been a much easier pill for me to swallow. That would have been a much easier sales pitch, if you will, to my wife to say, hey, I want to try this. Obviously, you know, everything worked out, but I remember that feeling like, man, this, you know, it cycles back and forth really, really fast, and it's an electronic, and how's that going to work? And I was very unsure. And now I can and have been telling folks, they're like, man, I want to try a dot. I just don't want to spend that much money. And it's like, well, get a Gideon, man. Try the Gideon Alpha. I've personally been using one. It's done great. It's held zero. It'll do everything you need a pistol red dot to do. And you're at a great price point. Now, you don't have the solar backup like you might have on the Holosuns. So what? I mean, do any of us really use the solar backup? If you've used it, like your battery has gone down, if you cover the optic and the battery is dead, the optic's not working, and then you've actually used the solar backup, you know, out at the range instead of changing your battery, comment below, because I want to see something. I change my batteries once a year on my birthday. I think one time the solar backup came in handy, and that was on the first or second one I got, and I was trying to see how long the battery went, and I was out at the range, and it went out. And I think I used it for like 20 minutes, and I was like, this is dumb. I need to do this now before I forget about it. So if you've had a different experience, comment that. Or if you feel there are any features on the Gideon Alpha that are missing that you must have on your red dot, comment that down below as well. Because I think for 99.9% of us, the Gideon Optics line of optics is going to be just fine. I know I have no hesitation recommending this for carrying it myself, or even for my family, spouse, or whatnot to use a Gideon optic. I think they're great. I think they're an excellent value proposition. And the level of transparency, I'm going to link in the description to a interview Mike Branson did with Ian from Forgotten Weapons, where he addresses some of the things that are, you know, people say, why get this as opposed to a Trijicon or aim point. He addresses that in a very direct and transparent manner that was very refreshing to hear, especially in the firearms industry. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Just here to tell you, if you are in the market for a red dot or you've wanted to try one and the value proposition just wasn't there with other brands and other prices, I would look real hard at these. I'm sorry I don't have a more entertaining review for you. This is kind of like my experience with the Gideon, man. It just goes, you know. I don't necessarily want to be entertained when I'm using a dot. I don't need a bunch of excitement, right? I just need it to go. It's like starting my car. I don't need to have a bunch of just, man, adrenaline dump. I just want to hit the button, it starts, or turn the key and it starts. Boringly reliable. I think a lot of us are so desperate for the next dopamine hit that we forget to appreciate the small things, like, you know, it didn't do anything crazy. It just worked like it's supposed to. So yeah, I give Gideon a huge thumbs up and a huge thank you as well for not only sitting this out here, but also being patient enough with me to finally get you the review. I didn't forget about you. I just waiting to see if it was going to be exciting or boring, and it's been boringly reliable. So I do want to give a huge thank you before we close out to channel sponsor, Epic Water Filters. I've been using it. That's a filter down the bottom. Fill it up with water from any source with the filter I'm using. They have two different filters. It's the Anywhere filter, any freshwater source, tap water, creek water, whatever, and drink it with confidence, knowing you're not going to get giardia and soil yourself. The any tap filter, you can filter tap water, but don't use outdoor freshwater sources because you still might crap yourself. Different filters, different reasons. I'm on a well, so I use this one. Haven't really had a whole lot of problems with the well water, but anyway, I use it. I've got a gallon of water I picked up at the gas station. I don't feel like drinking a whole bunch of crap that may or may not be in the water, so I pour it in here and go about my business. It's an Nalgene construction. This has been great. Be a link down in the description. They've been awesome as well. Anyways, folks, huge thank you to patrons and channel members. If you notice my snazzy new mic setup, that was only possible because of the generosity of my patron supporters and channel members. If you're interested, there will be links to support the channel in that method down below. If you would like to do a one-time donation to the channel, there's a Cash App because I'm a millennial. That is there as well. It's never anything you have to do, but if you want to do it, it's down there and it's greatly appreciated. For channel members, you get early access to long format videos, normally about a week before they go public. I try to get in the comments nightly. I'm able to do that more in the landscaping off season. Patreon supporters, y'all get special content over there, typed content, and there's a chat room as well. I appreciate everybody that has supported the channel financially. Never anything you have to do. It's there if you want to do it, and that's that. But I do appreciate you. It enables me to keep the equipment going so I can hopefully produce good content, or the equipment isn't the reason I can't produce good content. We'll leave it there. But stay safe, and I'll see y'all next time.